Carson Lee 5 wants to know, how do you organize content, pre-edit, edited, when to post? First things first, Carson, miss you. Hope you're doing well. I see you crushing it. Keep going. That a baby. All right, so organize content. For me, particularly, word exchange. For me specifically, I am like super OCD with the organization of my content. So I have specific hard drives to organize what type of content it is. So I'll take the SD from the camera and I'll just throw the raw files into, so say it's like catch plays or bullpens or like just throwing content during a season, off season, whatever. I'll take the raw content from the SD, I'll throw that in the hard drive under a specific folder from the date and what that date entailed, like what we were, wow, that's a full stop right there. That's going 80 to going 15. Oh, police in point 2. We got like 6 different monitors going right now. Let's see if we get pulled over. I'll keep you posted. But and then like you have like other hard drives for other types of content. Podcast, I have a whole hard drive for that, you know, like FAQs, Q&As, whatever, training, I would say are my biggest ones. So once I take them from the SD, then I'll go in and chop them up. But like I said, I'm super OCD, don't have a whole lot of time to edit. So like I'll just write them all down on a big sheet of paper in terms of like what edit or what content needs to be edited, whether it be like 826 catch play and bullpen, blah blah blah. And then I like to make edits there. But then the editing aspect of it, so whenever I do finish the edit, then obviously I go back in and delete the raw footage of that particular day, or else it'll take up a ton of storage space. And another thing about hard drives, if you guys are getting into this stuff, go with the hard drives that are not so much about like the volume. That's a deer that just got crushed recently. Not so much about like the amount of storage space that it's capable of having, but the speed of the transfer of that data. Because I've learned the hard way that I, usually go like, I'll get like a 5 terabyte, but it transfer speeds at like 50 megabytes a second, and then your life is just wasted away watching things just go to there. And if you're doing content through like Adobe or Final Cut Pro, and you use one of your hard drives as like the volume disk, then the export times are a direct correlation to that speed that the hard drive's capable of processing at. So SanDisk has a great option at 1050 megabytes a second. I know I have a Kingston one that goes at like 1,000 megabytes a second. So a little tit for tat there. And then the edited stuff, like if I get done, say a long form video of 16:9 for like a YouTube, say it's like a bullpen edit. You get done, you got that whole sequence edited, and then you're like, all right, well now it's time to make clips out of that to then promote to the large form YouTube video. It used to be a lot more difficult because I would have to change aspect ratios for each platform, whereas like Instagram, if you were going to do an Instagram video, although they accepted 16:9 format, it like would never do as well. So I would always have to change that aspect ratio to more of like a square, like a 1:1. Now Instagram changed to where they're only doing videos 9:16, IG Reels, even if it's like a long form video, still doing it 9:16. So honestly, now when I do my editing stuff, like I'm just creating a ton of 9:16s, which is like whether 1080 by 1920 or 2160 by 3840 for like the 4K. And then what I do is like I get all those clips, and usually all the clips are already in the timeline, so I can just pick which ones that I want, maybe do a few little edits here and there and make it a little bit better. Sometimes I add text, sometimes I don't, but I'll throw those into the hard drive again, transfer those out, and then what I do for posting, I have one TikTok guy that has access to a Google Drive folder that has like all the content that I'm editing, creating on my side. So then he goes into my TikTok folder, downloads a particular video, and then posts on my TikTok. So I don't have to worry about too much TikTok posting. But like with Instagram hard part in terms of, like, Carson, you want to know, like, when to post. I used to be super stingy, or used to be a stickler about the times that I would post. Used to be very, like, intentional with, all right, I got to post at 3, 6, 9 p.m. Stay away from lunch hour. Stay away from this time because no one's on. I used to be like that, but if you realize, like, or if you notice what Instagram's doing within their IG Reels and stuff like that, like, they're pushing it more in the later time. Like, it's kind of very similar to how TikTok's doing it, or the uniqueness of TikTok, I would say, is that you can post a video and it starts off not doing good or whatever, and then like a week later you look back and it's got 1 million views. Like, that's very similar to how Instagram's doing it. So I'm not so concerned, honestly, nowadays with what time of day I'm posting at, when I'm posting, what I'm, like, you know, stuff like that. So, like, honestly, it's whenever I have time, especially with Instagram, you know. The quantity of posts are definitely more down than they had been in previous years. I remember when I first started doing my brand, I was posting legit like 3 to 4 times a day on Instagram. I'm still hitting that number like on TikTok, but everything's kind of down, especially like during season, obviously, just trying to manage. But the hardest part, I would say, within content editing while in season is like the actual, you know, sitting down, finding time to edit, and then, like I just explained, a very large process that is very time consuming. So it's the best system that I've found that works for myself in terms of productivity and time management and stuff like that. But all of that content, like I said, goes in to a Google Drive, which I obviously have access to along with some other people. So then I can see, like, all right, everything in the Google Drive is content that is edited, and then I can even pick and pull some out of that. I have, you know, everyone has iCloud, but you buy certain amounts of storage where you can transfer that content to, you know, your desktop on a Mac or an iMac, and then you have that access, you have that accessible on your phone. So if you ever need, like, oh, I got a few seconds or a few minutes here, let me just post something real quick, like, boom, it's on your phone, blah, 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 blah. I've always had different, like, routines, different structure within my content endeavors, and it always kind of changes to see, like, what's the most efficient